that's a good question. Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome to another session of Let's Talk here by Interlingua. My name is Mike Ruiz, and I'm your host for today. Today, as usual, we have a very interesting topic in which we will question ourselves how interested we are in art, or how often do we relate ourselves to art, and what type of art are we very much fond of? Me personally, I love music, and I love to play guitar. I love paintings, but if you ask me if I can paint, eh, it's a big no-no for me. But I mean, this is one of the questions that we are going to do to all of our guests. And by the way, today we're going to have a lot of participations because not only we have one, not two, but three guests who are going to be here in a moment. All of them relate themselves with one artistic field. Let's find out which one. So let's bring out our guests. Without further ado, let's bring out Carmen, let's bring out Julia, and let's bring out Jordi. Hey, what up, everybody? What's that?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. All
Hello
right,
there.
guys. All right, guys. I'm pretty excited about this because art, such a short word, but with a lot of meaning and so many things that can come out of it, especially in these times with everything that's going on. Everybody can find a little bit of inspiration and everybody can create something, either if it's a song, either if it's a drawing, either if it's a writing, a short film, who knows? But let's talk about what you guys can do. And let me just throw the dice and let's begin with Carmen. Carmen, once again, yeah, I'm sorry. It's the dice. The dice chose
Right.
you. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And since because you've participated a lot in these type of shows, so since you're a senior, let's begin with you, my dear. So, for those of you who don't know, and for those viewers who are familiar with us, Carmen, besides being part of Interlingua, has a pretty interesting career, or she's studying a pretty interesting career. Can you tell me what exactly are you studying right now?
Yeah. Well, I'm studying arts, like plastic arts. And I mean, it's a very interesting degree, like you have a lot of topics. We practice with a lot of things, like it's not very focused. So it's great if you want to learn a little bit of everything, I think.
And why did you decide to go for this in your life?
Well, I guess it's like a pretty common story, like when I was a kid, I really liked to draw, and I wanted to do that for a living, like I mean, not only drawing, but I wanted to do something related to art, something that basically also something that I wasn't going to regret, like like of course my mother didn't want me to study arts or things like that. She wanted me to study architecture, for example, and well, I didn't, and I don't regret it. So I think it was a good choice.
In which semester are you currently?
I just finished my sixth semester, so I'm going to pass to the seventh.
How many are there in total?
There's supposed to be nine. I mean, I'm like closer to the
to the
end than
end.
I thought.
All right, all right. And tell me, so far, what has been the most challenging thing you have faced in this degree?
Well, I think it's not like, well, for me, I think it's not a really challenging degree. I mean, it requires a lot of time and effort, but it's like it's not, for example, well, I don't know. Okay, the point is that for me, the most difficult part were the first 2 semesters. I hated them. um,
Oh, why?
because I don't know, there was a class and it was like really, really, really difficult for me. Honestly, I think that nowadays, like in the present, I would like to take it again because I think that now I would appreciate it more, like with the
Okay.
experience and everything, I would really enjoy it. But in that moment, for me, it was very, very stressing, like horrible. I didn't understand anything. I liked the teacher, the teacher was very good and everything, but for me it was very, very difficult. So I think that was the only moment when I thought that maybe I should have studied something else.
What was the class about? What was the topic?
It was, I suppose, the English translation is visual education or something like that. It
Okay.
was something like philosophy. I Julia's laughing because that class was hard for everyone, and but that is it. I mean, I think that if I took the class now, I would enjoy it. Like really, I would understand more things. I would appreciate it. So, but in that moment, it was horrible.
Hmm. But a lot of good things came out from that. For example, you have met one of the other guests, in this case, Julia. As I understand, you guys are friends and also classmates. So, Julia, was it always like that, or you just met in the last semester or in this semester? How did you guys came to know each other?
Yeah, we actually met in the first semester, and we get along well. I don't know. I think Carmen is a great classmate, and whenever we had a doubt or something like that, or we needed help, we just got together.
What was the icebreaker between the both of you, or what was the thing that brought you together to be friends?
I can remember, but I'm sure it was homework.
Oh, about the topic that she hated, or about what?
I'm pretty sure, something like that. Um, I don't know. Always we became friends, asking things, sharing our likes. I don't know.
Okie dokie. And tell me, why did you decide to also study this degree?
Well, I started to being interested in arts since I was a little child. I remember that I always liked to be in theater or in music or painting. I don't know. Always I was in search for all those things about art. And when I turned 9 years old, I um, I started to study music in the Conservatory of Puebla, and then um, I kind of always knew that I wanted to study something related to art. And when the moment came to enter to the university, I decided that I wanted to complement my music studies with something else, and that was art.
So you were studying two things, your degree along with your music formation.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, of course. That you are so as I understand you are studying two things right now. Your music formation and your degree in arts. Is that correct?
Yeah, I study transversal flute. I have been playing flute for like almost 10 years now, and it has been such an amazing experience. I have a lot of people, and I have been in a lot of different places that I never dreamed to be without music. And yeah, I think that studying arts and studying music has been like, I don't know, the best thing to do for me.
Okay, can you tell me one of the places or some of the places that you have played, please?
Yeah, that I have played. I don't know. Sometimes I have been playing in theaters, especially in Puebla, um, but also in like some marketplaces. Sometimes in big spaces, great spaces. Sometimes we go to little in Puebla. But not only the interesting thing in music is that not only your instrument leaves you to play or to be in different places. For example, I joined to a choir recently, and we have been in San Miguel de Allende like 2 months ago, and also we went to Oaxaca like one month ago. And with music, also singing, we went to Mexico. We present an operetta in the CENART, which is the Centro Nacional de las Artes. So also we play in the Auditorio Metropolitano in Puebla, which is really huge. And yeah, I have had a lot of amazing and really strange and funny experiences.
So you also sang.
Uh, it's not my principal attribute. I don't know. I always prefer to play flute, but yeah, strangely the singing has led me to more places than the flute.
Oh, and well, I assume that with flute and with singing, you mostly you mostly perform classical pieces, right?
Yeah, mostly
Oh,
classical pieces, but not only that, because I also have been in a band. I was in a symphonic band named Secamba, and we used to play more popular music, and that led me to know a lot of music because more people used to came to see us perform. And for me it was really interesting and really beautiful because when I was in that group I could see people dancing and singing and screaming and having really fun. So um, I don't know, I have played both, such as classical music but also popular music, and both genres are really beautiful and interesting and difficult as well.
but which do you prefer?
um, I don't know. I think it
Mhm.
depends. So I think that for flute, I have always preferred to play classical music. I think that is what I feel most more comfortable with. But for when I am with other people playing, like in a group or in a band or something like that, I prefer to play popular music, but because more people come to see us and people I see people being happy, and it's less pressure because you don't have to worry about the technique. You just have to worry about expressing something and having a good time.
Where in which places do you normally play with this band?
I used to play mostly in Casa de Cultura in the circle, but we used to go to another different little towns in Puebla. We went to I don't know, the north and to the south also. Uh, Mostly in places that are not exactly the center, because the intention of the project is to take music to places where doesn't exactly get the music, especially in those little towns like I don't know, Ciudad Cerdán. I can remember, but I went to a lot of places. Atlisca, I don't know. and I was in there for like almost 2 years, and we went to, I don't know, more than almost once a month. We went out of the city to play.
Okay. And as an artist or as a performer, how does that make you feel to bring your kind of art to all those populations, to all those sectors?
Um, I think for me it's always great. For me, making understood the music and the art in another way, because when you're in the city, you have a lot of expressions, you have a lot of culture, you have a lot of things. And I don't know, if it's Saturday and you want to do something, you go to the center and you go to a museum, and or you go to the exposition of art, or you go to the theater to see something. But that doesn't happen in another places that are not in the center. So to bring another kind of music, to bring another kind of faces to those places, and to see the people happy, enjoying, and also sometimes young people or kids used to come to us to ask how can they do that, and, then the project, the final of the project is that more cities, um, I mean more places get to have those agrupations. So kids wanting to learn music, wanting to do something with their free time, for me was awesome, and I really enjoyed, because for me art had a meaning in that time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Julia. I will get back to you in a moment. Now, what's up, Jordi? Hey,
Hey there,
yo. Hi, man. How are you?
doing good. Thank you. What about you?
Hanging in there.
Yeah, feel you.
Yeah, you feel me, man. So, Jordi,
Yes.
I gotta mention, you are not a classmate of Carmen or Julia. But, however, you are related to art in your personal life in a very intimate way. Can you tell me about it? What is it? What kind what kind of art are you very interested in, and which do you practice?
Well, I would like to say that I like and I appreciate all kinds of art. However, since I'm quite clumsy with my hands, the one I practice is writing. That's my thing.
Writing.
Hmm.
Okay, what do you like to write? Stories? Are you working on a book? What about maybe some poems, sonnets? What?
Whew, that's a big question. I kind of write whatever I feel like writing. One day I can start or I can work on a short story or maybe two. Some other days I feel like writing some poetry. I have been struggling with finishing a series of books for like 5 years, and I've only written two, but uh, I think I'm working on it.
If it's not too much trouble, may I ask what are they about, or the complete idea of the five books? What are they supposed to be about? What are they supposed to say?
Okay. My books are basically about this guy that used to be a writer, like a very famous writer, but something happened, and suddenly no one likes him anymore, and then it's like in a spiral of self destruction until something happens and his life changes. Yeah.
Wow. Can you tell me which genre you want to explore with this story?
it's supposed to be like mystery, a little bit like detective or police novels. That's kind of the
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Okay. So you decided to open yourself in the field of literature. So uh when did you exactly turned reading books into a habit? How old were you?
Okay. Well, the thing is, I learned to read when I was like 4 or something, and I mean before kindergarten, um, and then I got a habit. So pretty much when I was in elementary school, I basically spent my free time reading.
All right. Do you have a genre that you prefer the most, or you just like to read about everything that you come across to?
Yeah, pretty much everything.
Ah,
But I'm more into like fiction, like historical fiction, high fantasy. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. Um,
oh,
yeah. What else? Lord of the Rings, um, historic fiction, and of course the classics. I never miss them.
is there an author or maybe a poet in particular that you feel that he or she speaks directly to you, that you feel very that you can identify yourself with?
Yes, of course. Um, one of the, or yeah, one of the, let's say, big influences I have, if that doesn't sound like too pretentious, was or is Edgar Allan Poe. When I first read him, I was like, no. And I was like, no, I have to do this. I want to do whatever this guy did, except for the heavy drinking and the drugs. But
And falling
yeah.
in love with your cousin, right?
Oh no, 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 not that either. No, come on. I mean, talking about writing. Come on, Mike.
Yeah, of course. Don't worry though.
Yeah, but I mean, he wrote beautifully, so I was like, I want to do that.
Actually, the funny thing is that now that I mentioned that, let me share that I also love Edgar Allan Poe. And curious thing, I can't remember the name in English, but I think it was Lenore, one of his tales.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's till this day, that's the when I read that that story, it has been the only time in my life that a story or something that I'm reading made me cry. Like I got so emotional by reading it because it sounded so genuine, so authentic. I mean, well, you know Poe. I mean, he's very dark. He's very morbid. He's not afraid to go to dark places. But that tale in particular, so much colorful imagery goes to your head, and you can tell that he's writing from his heart. He's like expressing his true feelings for Lenore, and he does it in such a beautiful way that, oh my god, it's just I
yeah,
remember, and I get very touchy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody, but it's just like I recommend. Let me take this moment to recommend you guys a tale for to you girls and for all of viewers. Lenore. It might come up as a little crazy in a few paragraphs, but as a whole, it's such a it's such a beautiful tale because it feels almost as if it was a letter for her, and how she made him feel, which is, well, like I said, It might be crazy, but it sounds so authentic, so pure, and that really got me. That really gets me. Thank you for opening this emotional window, Jordi. I can't thank you enough.
Sorry,
I
Mike.
I will get back to you in a moment. Don't worry.
Sure.
I'm having fun. This is such a nice space. So Carmen, coming back to you. You, like you mentioned a while ago, you are closer to the end of your degree than to starting over again. So once you finish, what
Ah,
does
please don't ask me that.
I'm just
No,
like
I'm just kidding. You can do it.
I'm just like I'm just curious of your your inner self. Let me put it to you this way. Let me put it to you this way.
All right.
Without any deadlines, without any timelines. Let me just put it to you this way. Let me rephrase it. Your inner self. What does she want to express to the world? What do you want to create? What do you want to say to anyone that comes across to something that you elaborate or that you create?
All right. Well, I don't know. Some people, I mean, some people don't like this like idea, or this um focus on the art, But for example, to be honest, I have always considered myself more like an illustrator than an artist. And I
Okay.
mean, the idea of an illustration is that you can like basically well, as I understand, it's like you have to understand a story with only a picture, or an image. So that is what I want to do, like I haven't been drawing or producing anything lately, but when I do something, I want it to say maybe what I am going through in that moment, I mean, and something that people can relate to, like for example, something that has happened to me that I know that probably other people have experienced, Again, some people don't like that focus, but I think that is what I have been doing, and that is it. I mean, many times um I don't know. I try to. I don't know. This is a very very criticized focus on arts again, but
Yeah.
I always try to tell something about like myself. Like what is going on in my life, all right, and sometimes I try just to take it out, and sometimes I want other people to understand more or less what I'm going through. Of course, not with words, last Jordi, but with a picture, And that is it. I mean, if you tell me like what I want to talk about, I would tell you that it changes every week, like depending on how I feel, what I'm doing.
And for instance, what is your process or what has been like your process or your style to work? Like for instance, I'm telling you this because I have a friend that also studied art, and what he the way he operated or the way he worked was that he always in his backpack he always carried like a small sketchbook. And I'm not kidding. I mean, we could be hanging out like in the streets, sitting on a bench, drinking a soda, and then he would come and he would come up with something. and it doesn't
Yeah.
it didn't matter if I was speaking to him or we were having a conversation. He would get the sketchbook out and he would go start and like and he'd be like, uh-huh, yeah, okay, uh-huh, is that the way you
Right.
are too, or you just like to, or you need like a space in which you feel free, maybe the intimacy of your room, I don't know.
I think I do need some space and also some time, like for example, many times it's like I have an idea like in my mind, and I would like to write down those ideas, or to do a little sketch so I don't forget. But to be honest, I don't do it. So most of my ideas just disappear. Like if I'm very honest with you, most of my ideas only disappear because I don't write them down. I don't sketch them out or anything. So they disappear. But for example, if there is an idea that I have maybe twice or three, 4 or 5 times, in that moment I start doing something about it, because it's like, okay, I have a necessity, like. But normally, if I'm very honest with you, I just like, if we I think we could even say that I improvise a little bit. Sometimes it's like, okay, I want to do something but I don't know what to do, so I can start like with something that is like just pretty, that doesn't mean anything at all. And then
Uh-huh.
if I want to, sometimes it doesn't happen, I can like do transform that sketch or that picture into something that I can feel proud of,
Okay, alrighty, thank you very much, Carmen. I'll get back
Yes.
to you in a moment.
All right.
Julia, my dear, since you are practicing two, mm, yes, they are different, two different forms of art. Uh, what are your influences for each? Like in music, who do you look up to? And for plastic arts, whose work do you know that you admire?
Yeah, I don't know. It happened something curious. Um, I don't know. There are many, many artists and many, many types or of art, and always change. That always changes. No, for example, when I was in the middle of the pandemic, there was an artist that is named Edward Hopper. He is a painter. He was a painter, an American painter, and he talked about loneliness. And for me, that was really amazing. And then I listened to jazz music, and for me, as the jazz music and these paintings that used to talk about loneliness, for me were like the same feeling. So in that time, I started to produce music and to produce art that used to talk about loneliness and how to be with ourselves and all that. And so then for me, music and art always are at the same level. Whenever I create something like a painting or I don't know, a short film with my cell phone, or whenever I make everything like complements each other. So yeah, um, I can say that always I am looking for one artist in specific. For example, now I am in the middle of a research about digital art, and I am now looking about artists that are making a lot of crazy things with the computer. So I don't know. I am just thinking about that and the music that is like accompanying these creations of digital art and these digital expositions. So yeah, it's so interesting about accompanying art and images and music and everything.
Do you think that maybe digital art is pushing away the old school way to produce something like from a canvas or from paper, or that those will never disappear? What do you think about that?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat like the beginning of the question, please?
Yes, of course. Do you think that digital art is pushing away the old school ways of creating art, such as, maybe in a canvas or in a sheet of paper to do a drawing, to do a painting, or those things will never disappear? What do you think?
No, I don't think that traditional art is going to ever disappear. I think that digital art is something that you get eventually, but we always start in the same way. Grabbing a piece of paper, grabbing a piece of I don't know, chalk, or grabbing a chapstick and I don't know, beating your chair and creating a rhythm. Traditional art is part of us, and it is going to always be part of our nature. But um, when you are making art, you always try to complement your creations with whatever is around you. And in this case, digital media, new ways of making art are like everywhere now. Are exploding and are like complementing our way of seeing things and creating things. So I think digital art is going to be more a complement and more I don't know, something that goes along with traditional creation. I think that is something that you get eventually to do, and some people will prefer to let behind traditional art. Maybe not totally, but just in part, and will prefer to do more digital art. But I don't think that we ever forget traditional art.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so. Yeah, because I don't know. I like to walk into an exposition and just check out like a big mural or a big painting. You just don't get the same feeling from I mean, it doesn't matter how in it doesn't matter how well is the definition or the resolution of the picture. It's not the same to look at it from a monitor or maybe from a phone than it is to look at the actual work, you know, to look at it and just I think you get more connected to it. I don't know if that happens to you guys, that you feel like maybe the final product speaks directly to you when you are actually looking at it in person, that it is to just download it or maybe find finding finding it in a website, right?
If I may, I think
Sure.
it's like, like when you create something, even if it is not, I think it's very difficult to create like a masterpiece, but if you are going to do something just because you want to, to have a good time. I have made some drawings on digital art, but always feel like much better when it's like on paper, even if it's just a sketch, a little face, or whatever. It's like, I don't know, even the, like the movements that you need to make with your hands, the touch with the paper, things like that are like a whole different experience, like that maybe isn't never going that is never going to be the same with digital art. I think there is also, for example, this plastic, for iPads or things like that, and they are like, yeah, they are supposed to have a similar texture to paper. And I have never tried any of those, but I think it's not the same, like it's never going to be the same. And it is, and that's it, we can't do anything about it.
All right. All right. So there you have it, folks. Stick to the old ways without forgetting that there are new ways, and maybe something will come up. Who knows? Why? Yordi, Yordi. Let me tell you some. Let me ask you something, my friend. How? Mm, let me put it to you this way. How meaningful is art in general in your personal life?
Oof. I would say it's one of the most important things. Um, if we talk about art that we create or art that we make, it's a way that we have to express ourselves. And if it's art that someone else made, um, most of the times or always, like we feel identified with something. Like there is something, even if it's like a tiny detail, it's something that you can relate to.
Okay.
So in the end, I think it's super important because without art, I don't know, probably everyone would have gone crazy because they wouldn't have any way to express themselves.
And how do you express yourself through art, my friend?
Oh my. Well, yeah, I think that in a very similar way to what was mentioned a moment ago, um, most of what I write, well, what I write depends on how I'm feeling in that moment. So you can, you can find a text that I wrote one day that I was feeling super miserable, and then the next one that I wrote the following day is like super optimistic and everything is fine and everything is perfect. You know, so it depends on how I'm feeling. So yeah, it can change a lot.
You mentioned something very interesting. I don't know if it was merely example or it actually happened, but you mentioned that you could anyone could read something that you wrote when you were feeling very down, and the one that you write the next day was totally the opposite. Do you
Mhm.
think something like that happens because you let everything out, to put it that way, when you were feeling bad, when you were feeling that? You mean you illustrate it in some way, maybe in a text? Do you think that's connected?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, I am the kind of writer that uh, writes to express something or something that is like maybe overwhelming, and it's like I need to express this, but I don't want to pay a therapist.
Oh,
um, so yeah, in my case, I think it's deeply, deeply connected. I would like to be the kind of person that writes a super depressing passage while being actually feeling fine, or vice versa. But no, I'm not that kind of writer yet.
and it's it's related to one I want to ask you. I can't remember the exact quote, but I once read that Stephen King said that if you want to write, you must get yourself away from any possible distraction, like maybe a TV on, some music in the background. Like you need to be in focus on what you're doing. Me personally, I hate
Mhm.
silence. I hate it. I get so uncomfortable. I get so anxious. When you are writing, what is your perfect place or your perfect situation to be in? Do you have a specific table at home? Maybe you like to go out. What do you do when you are writing? Or
Nah,
where do you want to be?
Okay. Um, Actually, I can write basically anywhere. Like, I mean, like the thing you were saying about your friend that or used to carry a sketchbook. I used to do something similar. I used to have a notebook with me. So I mean, like writing the boss or something. Like I get an idea and write it down before I lose it because I know it can happen. And it's like, okay, write only the idea, and you can work on it later, or you can elaborate on it later. So technically, I can write anywhere, but like my ideal setting for writing is like at home with I mean sitting at a desk with some music. I like to have music on when I'm writing. That also helps like setting the mood, right? So
Yeah.
some music. I try not to have like anything to eat because I get distracted, but maybe water or something. But yeah, I mean something quiet. I mean, except for the music, of course, and a place where I can like take my time because I don't really like to write under pressure, like Queen.
Boom,
But
boom,
yeah,
boom, 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 boom.
exactly.
Cool, bro. And what type of music do you like to have in the background? Maybe something related to what you are writing, or you have like a specific taste, to let yourself go.
No, I try to adapt it to what I'm trying to write. Like if I'm trying to write a passage that is like about a person feeling super fine and optimistic about everything, I go for maybe disco or something like that. Something like that is uh, like that makes you feel
Upbeat.
good. Yeah, exactly. If I'm trying to write, for example, about a physical fight or like a yeah, like a fist fight, I go for heavy metal or things like that. I don't know. It depends on what I'm trying to write.
All right. Thanks, man. Thank you for sharing all that.
Thank you, Mike.
So, guys, you are both admirers of what others have creators, but also you are performers and you create your own stuff. So I want to talk about that. The same thing goes for the three of you, starting with Carmen, of course. Out of the things you have drawn, painted, illustrated, can you describe me slash tell me one in particular that you are very proud of and why?
Okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm proud of it, because it didn't take a lot of, for example, abilities, if we may. It wasn't something like very difficult that I have made or anything, but I think something that I really like and that I can still feel when I watch it. I mean, sometimes it's like you do something and that is important for you in that moment, and maybe 1 or 2 months later it doesn't matter anymore, and that doesn't happen with that drawing. I mean, I made it like 2 years ago. I don't remember, or 1 year ago. I have no idea, and it
Ah,
is still touches my heart. Like whenever I see it, because I also made a little video with that, and whenever I see it, I feel like, and this is going to sound very ridiculous, but I feel like a lot of empathy for myself in the past. Like I made a drawing when after a breakup, and I don't know, like that drawing. like kind of marked the beginning of a lot of awful things that happened to me. So I don't know, like that drawing has a very special place in my heart, and that is it. I mean, I'm not proud of it. Like it's nothing spectacular, but I like it, and I think like if somebody is going through the same situation or something similar and they see the drawing, they are probably going to understand what is it about.
So you still have it?
Yeah, I mean it's a digital drawing, so
Oh,
I it's online, anybody can see it. And
really?
of course, I can send you the link if you want to.
I
I
need
mean,
it to. I don't want it to. I need it.
like, all
I
right,
need it. So
okay.
please.
So I'm going to copy the link and put it on the commentary in the comments section.
Yeah,
If you, all right,
I would very much like to. I would very much like to take a look at it
cool.
because of all everything that you put into it. I'm very curious of how am I going
All
to
right,
react or how is it
okay.
going to reach me. So please.
Okay, I hope it gets somewhere. I mean, I don't want you to be sad. And
No.
I don't want you to break up with anybody, but I do think that if you are going through a breakup, it's way easier to understand it, and or if you have had the experience, maybe you don't have to be in that spot right now, but if you had experienced it, I think like, well, I can like pretty much feel it. But I will stop, send you the link. All right.
Please, please. All right. Julia, what about you? Is there anything that you have created that you feel very proud of, or ha has it been a moment in which you have felt fulfilled as an artist?
I don't know. I think that um, there have been a lot of moments, different moments. When, for example, in my musician side, um, I always get really nervous when I am playing. Recently, I have been playing with people that really enjoy music. So in the last concerts, I have been happy with the results. So um, in the first time that I feel really like good at the end of the concert was when we stopped singing, and then I look back, and I saw one of my classmates, my partners, one musician, and he was smiling at the end of the concert. Thing that almost never happens, because when you are a classic musician, you always tend to be really critic with yourself and with the work that you just presented. But he was smiling, and then I thought, why not? I mean, we studied this for a long time. We did put a lot of effort in this, and people are happy and people enjoy the concert. So I am happy too. And for me, it was when I kind of start to enjoy concerts. Um, yes, I don't know. There have been a lot of experience where I have been feeling really happy after a concert, when people, the moment when people start dancing or start singing or start clapping at the middle of the song, for me that is amazing. When people at the end come and, I don't know, say something like congratulations, even though I know that there were mistakes, for me that's the moment where I know that it was worth it, everything in the work. Yeah, I don't know. I think that the the most um, the most powerful thing that can happen to you when you are an artist or a musician is when someone tells you that enjoy what he experienced. So the times that has happened to me, uh, it's when I get I don't know.
And let's say, which side of you do you want to exploit or explore more? You as an interpreter or you as a creator?
Mm, I think that I have been an interpreter more more time uh, because I have been in arts for like mm, 3 years more or less. But also, I don't consider myself a creator. I consider myself an history enthusiast. I like to spread art, to talk about art. So the creative part of art for me is not my main point. So I haven't done a lot of work, but also I think it's okay because I think it's needed. We need more people talking about art and talking about art from an academic position about people who knows about art. So that's what I am focusing in right now. That's why I am now about art, and I am yeah doing that. In that moment I am in a kind of how can I say, in the middle of a research with
Oh,
an scholar from Guadalajara. I am in Guadalajara now, and I am making research about digital art and the market of art. And I think that is really important for art right now, to talk about what is happening and that people who knows about art talk about that. So yeah, but also yeah, I think for me, um, I like to really explode the performer part, but also to explode the academic research part of me, and to combine both.
I hope you make it. I hope you make
Yeah.
it happen. Thank you so much. Jordi, what about you? I know that, well, you mentioned earlier that you have an idea that is in progress right now, but maybe what you have so far or something else entirely different really makes you feel proud because you created it. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, of course. When I finished the first volume or the first book, I mean, it was my first one. So it's like having your first child. It's like I did it. And I mean, um, I started working on the idea when I was like 16 or 17, and
Okay.
I finally finished it when I was like 22, something like that. So it was quite a while. So a lot of things happened during that process. So many of those events had an impact on the story, and seeing it finally complete, it was like, wow, I can do this. So yeah, I feel particularly proud of that one. And even though I like the rest of the story and I like all the ideas that I am working on right now, that one is and will always be like, I mean, it's the first one.
Of course. And what's next for
What's next?
Jordi and his creation?
Hopefully, finally finishing those books. I recently started exploring a composing music, so I would like to see that uh, working out some point. So yeah,
What kind of music are you are you composing?
uh, kind of for string quartets or for solo violins. Yeah,
Wow.
yes.
So you also play string instruments?
Mm-hmm.
While you're a cellist,
No, uh,
violinist.
I play the violin, the guitar, the bass, and the ukulele.
So you're also a musician.
Yeah.
Damn.
But it's for an upcoming week. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Right. So
Right.
let's. Yes, yes. Very nice. Thank you for reminding me of it. It's just that I got very surprised. I'm like, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
No, then
But yeah,
I guess we can leave it. We can leave it like this, guys. Talented guests. Thank you very much for being here, for taking your time. I'm aware of the hour. Thank you so much for investing time in being here. I can't thank you enough. I hope you have had a good time sharing your experiences and
sure.
expressing yourselves. Keep doing what you do. Don't stop. The world needs artists. They will never have enough. Thank you
Indeed.
so much, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. I guess I'll be seeing you around and we'll be in touch.
All right.
All right, guys. And for our viewers, I must bid you adieu. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Mwah, and good night.